This is not a test. Good morning, everybody. It's Aaron from The Gilby Life. Just starting my Sunday morning walk. Sunday morning walk? Yeah, exactly. I don't walk on Sundays or Saturdays. But yesterday, I started that 31-day walking challenge. So now I'm walking. Because I was challenged. I gotta be careful about challenges because I do them. And then I get legalistic and cranky sometimes. So I'm gonna do my best just to do the work while gliding over. I'm not gonna worry about having to get this walk in. I'm just gonna do it when I can. But I'm able to get out early this morning. It was raining all night. There might be a small leak in my bedroom around the fireplace. I heard it dripping last night. Fortunately, we have a little bucket up there because we haven't got it fixed yet. I'll get to it. Did I ever say I don't like heights? So today we have an event at church called Fearless at the Park. I go to a church that's called Fearless Church. I thought it was weird at first too, but it's pretty cool. But we're just gonna go hang out at the park, and they're gonna serve food and just hang out. And I'm not sure what they're gonna have, so I'm gonna eat probably like 4 eggs or so for breakfast today. I don't fast on the weekends. I'm a little hungry. So I'm gonna have about 4 eggs, just a little bit for breakfast, and I'm not sure about lunch and dinner. I think I'm gonna smoke a brisket. So I'm kind of cutting it close, I think, for this brisket. It's not huge, but after this walk, put in the smoker, 10 hours-ish, should be fine. Wonder if my neighbors think I'm crazy. Well, if they did think I was crazy, I mean, that would be accurate assessment. So I guess that would give them like points. Yesterday, someone asked me, why are you doing the walking challenge? Or what do you expect to get out of this? And I'm like, that's a really good question. I don't know. Since I already run 5 days a week, I guess I'm just gonna add a couple extra days of walking. And when I say running, it's run walking. I do both. But, so I got a couple extra days. And fortunately, if I just add walking, like this isn't highly stressful for me, so I could do it without, feeling like I'm wearing myself out and needing rest. Running and definitely weight training is what really wears me out. Trying to answer that question, like, well, fresh air in my lungs, wildlife, trash on the ground, I don't know, experience life, get up, do something, I don't know. But I guess my main goal was to inspire, obviously keep myself accountable and going, challenge myself not to get lazy and to do stuff, but also to inspire people. Walking isn't that difficult for me right now. I broke my toe a year ago and I still feel it a little bit, but it doesn't hold me back at all anymore. But some people have different health restrictions. Some people can't walk at all. Someone was sending me a message about not being able to walk because it was 107 degrees. I'm like, yeah. Do they still have malls? Can you go to the mall and walk? I tell people that exercise is good, but diet is probably at least 10 times more valuable than exercise. Get your diet right and you're gonna want to start exercising. You're gonna want to start doing more. You're gonna feel the need to do more, and depending on your restrictions, there's there's still ways to do stuff. My wife is doing a push-up challenge this month. I kept asking her yesterday, you do any push-ups? She's like, no. Do any push-ups? No. I'm like, how are you gonna get to 100? I guess that's not what the challenge is, but yeah, my mistake. There is one negative thing to challenges that I've realized is you do them, and then at the end of them, you're like, I'm done with this. And depending on what the challenge is, a lot of times we just take all that discipline and just throw it out the window, which is not necessarily the best thing to do, and depends on the challenge. But when I did the Lion diet strictly for 31 days, when I got to the end of it, I was like, I'm eating pork rinds, I'm eating bacon, I'm eating some eggs, and I felt like, honestly, I started feeling like I just deserved more food or different things because I worked so hard on that challenge and I did it. Now, after this walking challenge, I'll probably stop walking on Saturdays and Sundays just to give myself a break. That's all right. I don't think, I'm hoping it doesn't like make me hate walking and now I will never walk again. I'll just stop my workouts, but I don't think that's going to happen. But that's one of those things that is easy to, this is just one of those things you have to be cautious about. You put in the hard work, you do a good job, and it makes you feel like you've earned something. Hey, that's okay, but maybe plan in advance what that's going to be. Another thing that can happen is that you put in the hard work on something and you actually are changed. You get to the end of the challenge and you're like, that was so difficult. I worked so hard on this. I am not messing this up. And that's kind of how it is in the grocery store for me. Like, I look at food that I used to like and say, well, that's not food. That's not even food now. I'm not eating that because that's not food. That is not nutritious. There's no point in eating that. So my mind has changed. And that I'm very thankful for. I'm getting a good workout from this camera by sticking my arms straight out while I'm walking. I'm not sure what else they eat for dinner. I guess I'll just have brisket. But typically brisket just by itself is not that appealing to me. I've had some good bites. If it's done perfectly. There's a barbecue place around us called a City Barbecue that does really good brisket. But every once in a while you get like the flat part that's all dry. It's like, man, this could use some sauce or something to cut the fat. But I'm just gonna put salt on it and smoke it. What kind of wood do I use? I got some options today. Last time I did mesquite and I actually enjoyed it. Haven't done mesquite for a while. Maybe I'll do that again. Day 2 of the walking challenge. I'm out here walking, about halfway done with it today. I just had a thought. Do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? I was thinking about the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Like you would want to be treated. Guess what? Guess what? If you don't love yourself and treat yourself well, you'll never know how to treat someone else well. So treat yourself well today. Look yourself in the mirror and say, do you know what? You're not an accident. You have purpose. And get out there and put in that work. Put in that work on you. You're worth it. And there's other people that are worth it. All right, let's do this walking challenge. Day 2. Yeah! I guess I'll just take a second to do a shout out to my new friend Billy. Billy's out there working on his health. And his wife has been praying that he would find somebody, a Christian man, like to mentor him in these things. And we chatted, and the reality is when we started chatting, we realized like we had almost everything in common, other than the fact I'm a foot taller than you. It's just interesting to me that I decided to go on a carnivore diet. I decided to film it because I had found some therapy in filming things with my family. I like the memories too. I took a step in faith and posted that video. People watched it and it inspired people. Now God is sending me friends. And there's more of you out there. I talked to a guy named Mike Yankee this last week. Janelle and my wife are talking constantly. We're trying to get her on the Kilby Life, talk about food, because she knows a lot and has been through a lot and is still learning a lot. But I wanted to just say, you just never know what's going to happen in your life when you take a step of faith, even if it's towards something weird like diet. It's weird for me, by the way, but I've just continued to try to take steps of faith, and in those steps of faith I've ended up seeing God show up in my life and then work in the lives of other people. That's amazing. It's very humbling too. Yeah, Sunday vlog. I guess I could get a little bit more spiritual today. God loves you, and you're worth it. Don't forget that. I just realized that I was taking my time out here walking, having an amazing day, and now I've ran out of time. I got 50 minutes to get back home, get the meat in the smoker, get ready, shower, get ready, and get to the park. What'd I say about not stressing? Woo! I'm not stressing. All right, let's do this fast. I got this giant choice brisket whole, $4.90 a pound. 99 a pound, $70.91. Nope, I bought it on Father's Day weekend for $2.99 a pound. All right, I'm just gonna open it up. I'm gonna put some salt on it, and I'm putting it in my smoker. That easy. Easy peasy lemon squeeze it. I guess I'm fine. I'm not trimming anything off of it either. Did you hear that sweet noise I just made off camera? Listen to it. Just some Redmond's real salt. I like the coarse stuff, but I couldn't find it in 25-pound bags. And I was gonna put some smoked salt on it, but I thought that might be redundant. Gotta slap it, but never rub it. You ever just say something you're like, oh, that was weird. I made it. I mean, I think I did. I think I made it. All right, I put that brisket in. I ended up putting a little bit of mesquite and apple, which I've never heard of any professional ever doing that. But I like mesquite and I also like apple. Hopefully they go well together. I mean, it's smoked meat. Just simple electric smoker. I actually had like a much nicer smoker, but then it got, out in the rain, it ended up dying. The smoker's pretty simple, only just has like the one electrical coil in there. And I've replaced it once, I believe. And it was like super easy, and it was like 25 bucks. I'm like, yeah, I don't need anything fancy. I just need something that'll smoke something. Especially when things break and it costs you a fortune. And this one's super easy. I just cranked it. Hopefully we get it to temp. Does it smoke? I had to squish that thing up in there. For some reason, that brisket all squished in there kind of reminds me of this kid that my dad baptized while he was in his 20s 10 years ago. So good friend, he worked with me, and he was a little bit bigger boy, and our baptismal was a little small for him, and my dad had to take both hands and put it on his head and like push him under, and everyone started twitching in their seats and just couldn't help but laughing. I'll never forget that. I hope he's doing all right these days. Haven't seen him for a while.
It's saying they should do this is he doesn't just leave that up to your choice and what you decide you want to do. He's leveraging. He's using his money, his influence, and his power to control things behind the scenes and with these businesses. These media companies, like they mentioned with the Guardian and the Atlantic, and then also these fake meat manufacturing companies. And he also works with the World Health Organization and gets involved in the whole vaccine thing. So he's making these things happen rather than just saying this is what he thinks should happen.
All right, everybody. Today took a different turn. I came home after our church at the park. Went upstairs, took a time out, was downstairs. I was like, you know what? I better check on this meat just in case something happened and it turned off or something. And lo and behold, when I shut the garage to leave, I somehow unplugged the smoker. So, look where I'm at now. Yes, I actually prefer Costco, but Sam's Club is pretty good. So yes, I'm going into Sam's Club. I just realized I'm gonna have to pull a meal out last minute, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm like, well, because most of my meat is all frozen right now, and you know, I'm not buying pizza. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do breakfast. I'll do some bacon and eggs. Then I'm like, oh yeah, my wife isn't eating eggs. She may or may not have an egg allergy, at least a chicken egg allergy, and so she's been taking a break from eggs because she had some rashes, and she stopped eating chicken eggs and they started clearing up. So we're not 100% sure what's going on, but I'm like, well, she can't eat that, so I'm gonna surprise her with a steak. Oh, and I guess I'll get myself one too, and maybe eat a little bacon and eggs. This is one of those things, it's like, well, when everything doesn't go to plan, you could freak out or just make another plan. There's no point in freaking out. And if I had to, you know, I could just probably not eat anything. I'm not too hungry. So I didn't eat eggs this morning, but when I got home, I ate 6 eggs. Yep, 6 eggs. And some beef fat. Wagyu fat. Delicious. I'm just rambling now. I'm gonna go get some food. I'm gonna get eggs and bacon and steak. Eggs and bacon and steak. Yeah. I'd take the camera in there, but I don't like people looking at me like I'm some kind of high school wrestler. Alright, I made it out of Sam's Club with some ribeyes. Almost 4 pounds of ribeyes. 13 bucks a pound. Not a great deal, but then there were $5 off at the counter. So it makes it a little bit better. Splurge. I also got 180 eggs and 8 pounds of bacon. Hickory and apple smoked. That bacon, you know, it always says on the back that it's brined and sugar, but then it has no sugars and no added sugars. So there's obviously some amount of sugar. But if this is all the sugar that I get is from some bacon, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Well, we might as well see what this smoker looks like. It's not ready, that's for sure. Alright, just let this thing roll. I'm gonna go in, start cracking 1,000 eggs. And I'll come out to the flat top and get her done. "26 eggs, no shell, I think." So I'm just gonna add salt. Got this old cast iron pan I'm gonna cook the eggs in. I think I'm just gonna put a bunch of Wagyu fat in there, and I'm gonna blend up these eggs. I'm gonna cook them, and then I'm gonna stop them a little early and just put it in a warm oven while I go out and finish the stuff in the grill. That's the plan, Stan. I mean, you see how my day's gone already when it comes to plans. I actually think there's no markings on this, but I think it's like an old deep dish pizza pan that I found used, and yeah, works. Someone's like, the other day was like, "I've never seen anyone ever blend eggs," and I don't always blend them, but sometimes I'm just out looking for that smooth texture. Just blend them in my new blender I got a while back. All right, let's add the fat. I definitely just wanted a significant amount of fat in here. I think it'll make the eggs taste really good. You'll get like a beefy flavor with that salt. I actually been putting a tablespoon of Wagyu beef fat with some smoked salt in my water every morning instead of coffee. That stuff is legit. It tastes like just really good bone broth. Well, I got that pan a little hot because I was outside working on the flat top because it rained and got a bunch of water in there. So. Ended up getting some rust on my grill because of the rain last night. I bought a cover for it, but it didn't fit. Because I usually shop from when I'm on the toilet, and that's not that often, and it's usually pretty brief. I bet you wish this conversation was brief. All right, but I think I'm gonna put some bacon. I got some applewood smoked bacon. I'm gonna put them there. Asked my wife, hickory or apple? She said apple. So put the bacon on here. That'll lube this whole bad boy up. All right, that's gonna catch the camera on fire. Even though that's crooked, did you see me almost trip over my kid's scooter? Come on, kids, pick up your toys. Every day, real salt, smoked Chef Blend's real salt on these ribeyes. I'm only gonna cook 2 of them, but I'll pre-salt this other one for tomorrow. Yeah, I don't get it quite as even of a cook on this bacon as I would like, but it'll do. Make a mountain of bacon over here on the side that's off and put on these steaks. Definitely need to clean this little drip tray because it's catching on fire. But I use this thing so much. And I got a really big face. not actually sure. Man, I gotta move this thing, this bike thing. I keep tripping over it. I'm actually not quite sure if I even know how to cook steaks, because I use a sous vide machine so often. It's like, all I gotta do is sear it and done. So I'm gonna sear this really good. These are pretty thick. 5 minutes each side, max. Let's flip it, see what it looks like while I'm doing it one-handed. Don't mind the fire. If that doesn't get your blood pumping, something's wrong with you. I wanted to say thanks for everyone that's watching these videos. Like, I'm getting so many comments, I'm having a hard time keeping up. Elizabeth is helping me lately. And it's, yeah, it's amazing to get all these comments. I get to read all of them, I think, but getting a chance to reply to them is like very difficult, just with a busy life, but I'm trying. There's so many of you guys that I'm thinking, like, is it time for the Kill Beat Life to start their own community? Like, just, I know there's a lot of like carnivore communities, low carb communities. Is it time for us to make one? Let me know down in the comments if it's time for us to make a community. And I will still try to get the comments and stuff, but maybe a place where, you know, other than just emails, where people can send me stuff that will have a higher priority, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird. I'll read a couple comments. I was on the carnivore for probably 4+ months. I have a preface that I have Gilbert syndrome and I have no gallbladder. The doc told me there was no way to lower my liver enzymes. I went from 0.7%, which is around 700%, the average person or something like that to 0.1, which is a normal range. I was ecstatic, but I have since fallen off the diet and everything has gone back to crappy feeling. I need to go back. The one thing I did notice was my blood pressure did get higher on the carnivore diet, but this can be taken care of with cardio. I used to dream of French fries, no lie. Yes, you will dream of food when you think about food all the time. And when you're coming off carbs and stuff like that, you'll dream about food. And it'll just hit you randomly. But that's alright. That's alright. Like, I'm not exactly sure about the blood pressure raising. Maybe some of you have had your blood pressure raised on a carnivore diet. Dr. Ken Berry once said, if, you know, for a man, like, as long as it's under 140 over 90, you don't see it over that, don't worry about it too much, because that might raise your blood pressure. But yeah, falling off the diet and now I'm feeling crappy again. Alright, well, try again. Find something that, try it, make sure it works for you long term. Bro, just stick to keto because it's a reasonable version of the carnivore diet. We are not lions, we can't just eat meat, and keto is our middle to get in your veggies and your protein requirements that only eat the fat that comes with the foods you eat. Do not add extra fat because, listen to reason, some type of people try to bash the keto diet because of everyone get adapted to it, but who will they to buy sodas and pizzas and cookies and when you eat so much carbs you must take meds to do, that's the double win for the system. Yeah, I think I know what he's trying to say. They're like, carnivore's too restrictive and you have to have veggies and stuff like that, but the body does not need any exogenous carbohydrates to run. And a lot of people, you don't need veggies. You don't have to have veggies. Get your protein requirements by eating fatty cuts of meat. You probably don't even need to add that. Most people don't. But how do you feel? I mean, I have nothing wrong with the keto diet. It just didn't work well for me. It was actually, there was too much. I'm gonna flip this. Look at those bad boys. Yeah, so people will say the carnivore diet's too restrictive. Maybe for some people. But keto was I had too many freedoms on keto. And you think that fruits and especially vegetables are healthy, but there's a lot more carbs in vegetables than people realize. And I would say I would probably do okay on keto now, but it has taken me quite a while to change my mindset. I was completely broken just with the standard American diet and the way I thought about food, and going on a strict carnivore diet really helped me hone in on how I think about food and get power back in my life to make wise decisions. And after working that hard on something, I don't want to mess that up, for one, which is nice. So that's beneficial also. But I think I have nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with keto. But if you're the type of person that has tried keto over and over and over, and things just crept in too easily, you might need to restrict yourself more, because you are addicted to food. You're a food addict, carb addict, sugar addict, emotional eater. Somehow your food has got ownership over you. And man was made to eat food. Food is made for man, not man for food. If that makes sense. Oh yeah, it's very warm out here today. I'm glad I got that walk in this morning. This is me waiting patiently to eat food while I try to get 8 children at the table. Today at church, when the pastors came over and said, "Would you like a piece of sausage?" I was like, "Oh sure, let me try it." He's like, "Meat guy?" I was like, "No, it's meat dude." It's like, "Okay, meat dude." Look, it's right on my hat. You guys ready? All right, let's pray. God, thank you for the many blessings you give this family and the time we have together. Thank you for this opportunity to have a store to go to buy food last minute. I mean, we would have survived, but it's just, we forget sometimes how thankful and blessed we are to have access to good, nutritious food. Lord, we thank you for that. Thank you for the time we have around this table. Bless it in Jesus' name. All right, bacon. Gotta tell me how your steak is, because I forgot how to cook steak. Is it good? What's the cook on it?
Well, the edge looks like it's pretty well, but hold on.
Yeah, overcooked it.
I might need a little salt.
Everyone's a critic.
You asked, I'm not complaining.
Just eat it with some bacon.
I should top my meat with more meat.
How are the eggs? How are the eggs? Literally just laying up these things to these kids, they don't even get it. When someone asks you how the eggs are, you say,
Excellent.
They're excellent.
They are.
What if they're not?
Then
You lie.
We're gonna say they're atrocious.
Alright, this steak is still good even though I overcooked it.
I'm
That's
here
all
for
right.
it.
Alright, well, let me check to see where we're at with subscribers since we made this a thing. And I need to focus on eating this food. I'm sweating so much because it's like 100 degrees outside. 8,283.
Nice.
How much?
8,283. We got one.
Awesome.
They used to be more excited about it when I featured them in all the videos. Took 2 years to get 100, so. I appreciate all you guys and just thankful for this community. And remember what I said earlier, let me know about the community thing. And yes, you can bring a meal together last minute.
Indeed.
We'll see you guys later. Kilby out. Kilby out. You want to say Kilby out? Say it. Yeah. You want to say it, Abby? Didn't think so.
He'll be out.
He'll be out.